Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mental Garage. Behind me we have a Toyota 2013 86. A few years back we had a hailstorm come through Adelaide and a lot of cars were damaged, this being one of them. It's actually been repaired and repainted. Now I want to show you guys around this car because this is probably the worst paint job I've ever seen done on a car, and I want to show you guys what you're going to get if you want a really cheap job. Obviously this has been painted by someone else, all the body repairs and all that were done by someone else, and it's come in so I can try and make the car look somewhat presentable because the customer wants to sell this car. But yeah, getting a real cheap paint job is not going to get you very far, and it's going to probably cause you a lot more issues than what it's worth, as this owner has found out. This car realistically needs to be stripped down, everything taken off, all the parts cleaned, because it has a whole heap of overspray over everything, inside rubbers, door edges, stuff like that. And it's got runs all over it, and the finish of the paint is really bad. So realistically, this car here would need a full strip down and repaint, but the customer doesn't have that in the budget to clean up this car, and he just wants to get it sold. So I'm just going to clean it up and try and make it look as best as I can. So yeah, I'll just flip the camera around and show you guys what's happened to this car. All right, so we'll pretty much just start with the front end. If we look at the bonnet, I don't know if you guys can see that well, but pretty much the paint on this bonnet, if you run your hand along it, it feels like sandpaper. There's areas that have been rubbed that haven't even been polished. I don't know why you would even attempt to do that. You can see the paint's all blotchy. The metallic hasn't laid down nicely. As we go along, you can see all the repairs where hail dents weren't even repaired properly. There's shrink back in it. The paint's really orange peely, and there's just a whole heap of dust and crap in the paint. There's along the edges here, there's a run there that's sort of been sanded out, not that well, and if you actually run your hand across that edge, you can see that there's even just polish still coming off, but that's like really sharp edges on there where it's been masked up. Around the lights, there's just overspray all around the lights. A bit of a run there which hasn't been rubbed out. Another run there. Areas like around the grills and stuff like that, you'll see there's still a lot of overspray and things like that around it. More runs around the area, around areas that have been rubbed and not even polished. I don't know what the hell even happened here. It looks like he's sort of tried polishing it, rubbed through the new paint and gone down to the old paint, and it just looks like absolute crap. Just open up the engine bay quickly. We'll just do a walk around the car. Inside, where the lights are, there's overspray all in there. There's just old polish and rubbing down sludge everywhere. The car hasn't even been cleaned properly. As we go around, things like this that should have just been taken off have just been masked up, and there's all edges from where it's taped up and overspray on things. Another run down there. Edges, runs along edges, runs along sill panels, overspray inside guard liners. Things like this where the rubbers are, you can see that there's all just overspray on all the rubbers all the way along. Inside here, inside like the channel there where the windscreen is, it just looks like crap. It's even just really bad. I don't even know what this person was thinking that painted this car. Around the aerial, just looks like dog shit. Same thing, rear window, there's this overspray all over rubbers. The finish of the paint on the roof here, you can see there's just like shit in the paint. The quality of this paint job is really bad. I've never seen anything like this before. Even if we go inside the doors, rubbers, stuff like that, just got overspray on them. A few sags across the back there which need to be tidied up. More runs along the boot there. Same back here, if you run your hand along that just feels like sandpaper. Areas that have been rubbed, so there was obviously runs here. You can still see that there's a run there, and it hasn't even been rubbed out properly or even polished. I'm a bit concerned trying to rub this down and try and get a lot of these runs out, because I don't even know how much clear coat's on this car. More runs. Another run. This just runs all over it. Don't even know what the fuck that is. Looks like a bit of tape or something has hit onto that and stuck to the paint. More issues down there. Another run over there. Same on this side, you know, along where all the windows were masked up is just overspray and stuff all along these rubbers. More runs. Yeah. So this is what I'm just trying to tell you guys. Be careful where you get your cars painted because they can end up looking like that. I've never been one to put down people's work and, you know, talk shit about people. I'm not like that. I don't like to do that. We're all human. We can make mistakes doing work, you know. Earlier through my apprenticeship, I was doing jobs which I probably shouldn't have done and, you know, made mistakes along the way. But obviously as you tend to get more experience, your work gets a lot better, you take a lot more pride and stuff in your jobs, and just shit like this pisses me off because the guy that did this was just like, you know, give back to a customer like that. It's a half-finished job that probably shouldn't have even been done because it's made a lot more work for the car to look half presentable, because this is just dog shit. Like I said, the whole car probably needs to be sanded back and repainted, but hasn't got the budget to do that sort of work, so I'm just going to go around and try and tidy it up as best as possible, so hopefully you can sell it. You know, a car like this with the sort of Ks that it's got, the year, I would say average, it's probably about a $20,000 car. To try and sell this car, you'd probably be lucky to get 10 grand for it the way it sits. So yeah, just going to try and clean it up and make it look presentable so you can sell it and see how we go. But yeah, this is a video that I just wanted to show you guys to be careful. Obviously, spend that little bit extra money on getting a job done properly. That way you don't run into issues like this. We're all human, like I said, we make mistakes, but some people just have to take pride in doing what they're doing. And if you don't have the experience to do it, just don't do it at all. So yeah. All right guys, it's the following week that I did the last video on this car. I've given the car a full wet rub, so I've given it a quick 1500. The clear coat on this car, I don't even know what clear coat he's used, but it was a terrible clear coat. To try and rub it down was really hard. To try and polish it was a mission and a half. So I've just gone over it very quickly. Like I said, the owner doesn't have a budget to spend too much on this car. We're just trying to clean it up to make it look half presentable so you can sell it. A lot of the edges where it had overspray and rubbers and stuff like that obviously have been cleaned, but I'll just do a quick walk around, just show you the finished product. Like I said, people make mistakes in doing this sort of work, but to give a car back to someone looking like this car did is just, I don't think it's on. I've done jobs where customers haven't been happy with cars, and it usually comes down to what they're spending. People that want to do stuff on a budget, you're not going to get a very good job. So I've had people that haven't had a budget do stuff, and they're the ones that always complain because you're trying to rush to get stuff done, which is why I actually stopped doing a lot of paint work, because I just couldn't be bothered dealing with people like that. So yeah. All right, so straight off the bat, you can probably see the car looks a lot better than what it already did before. Polished up headlights, stuff like that. Had some sort of dodgy repair on the guard there, which I sort of cleaned up as best as I could. Like I said, the whole car's been wet rubbed with 1500. I didn't go too crazy on it because I don't know how much clear coat was put on this car when it was originally painted. You know, areas that had overspray have all been cleaned up. There's still some areas like, you can see there, that's just like a bit of stuff. Oh no, it's just something sitting on the paint. But there's some areas like these here, you know, that's underneath the clear coat, so there's not much I can really do with fixing stuff like that. Obviously I've still got to detail it up properly, but you know, I've cleaned up a lot of the areas that had overspray on it, inside wheel arches and stuff like that. The plastic covers that go over guards and stuff, they're all cleaned up. Edges where it had all overspray all inside that rubber strip there have all been cleaned up. Everything's been rubbed down, polished, and it just, the finish of the paint just looks a lot nicer. It's not 100%, but it's good enough for the owner to try and get this up for sale now and try and sell it. Like I said, if you're trying to get something done on a budget, don't expect too much. If you can, just try and save a little bit more and get a job done properly. That way you don't run into any issues and trying to get something done very cheap, because it doesn't work out very well. And like I said, I've had customers that want stuff done cheap. They've come back and they're like, oh, you know, I was expecting it to be a bit better, but it's like, well, you wanted something done cheap. That's what you sort of get. But something like this was just something that, you know, even though it was cheap, it shouldn't have been given back to the customer like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.